Hey guys, it's Paul from Freedom Gorilla, and today we're going to cover the Vortex Defender CCW compared to the Holosun 407K. So the reason we're doing this comparison is because the Defender CCW by Vortex was just released, and it's in a very similar price point to the 407K. We wanted to see how it compared to the 407K. So I'm going to try to give a very honest opinion here. So if you're not familiar with the Vortex Defender CCW, it's basically a micro compact optic meant to put on micro compact pistols. It has an RMSc footprint, which means it has the holes on the bottom. You don't need a special plate to mount it on something like a Glock 43X. But it comes in a 3 MOA dot and it comes in a 6 MOA dot. The 407K comes in a 6 MOA dot. It has a modified RMSc footprint, so to mount it on some pistols like a Glock 43X or a Hellcat, you do need an adapter plate, or you have to file down your rear tabs on the slide. And the reticle comes in green. The Vortex only comes in red. The price of the Vortex is $249.99, which is more expensive than the Holosun 407K. The 407K Holosun is $224.99 for the red dot version, and it's $239 for the green dot version. So right off the bat, one of the biggest downsides to the Defender CCW is that it only has 9,500 hours of battery life on setting 6, and the 407K has 50,000 hours of battery life on setting 6, and they both use a very similar battery. Besides that, I can talk about the build quality. I'll just go out and say they both look like they're similarly built. We don't have any history on the Defender CCW, but we do know that the 407K is IP67 waterproof. Vortex does not list what waterproof rating this is. It just says waterproof if you look hard enough in the manual. Another thing of note, Vortex gives you this key, which is metal. And so to me, that means it could scratch stuff. But to me, a downside is that this battery compartment here, you cannot open this plus sign thing with a screwdriver. You need to use this tool. So if you ever need to change the battery, you better have this tool. Also, the windage and elevation adjustment is a little bit strange. I mean, they put the tabs here to adjust the windage and elevation. I guess you could use a small screwdriver. Compare that to the Holosun, and you have a plastic tool which screws in the screws and is also used for windage and elevation. And this will also be used to remove the battery, which is on the side. So removing the battery on the Holosun is much easier. Okay, so battery life aside, why would you get the Vortex over the 407K? It's more expensive, but what do you get for that extra expense? So let's cover some of those things. Vortex will give you a Picatinny mount. Now I mounted this Picatinny mount on my Kel-Tec CMR 30, and I can tell you that it's too low to use on a carbine. You would have to put your head like this. Okay, so having a Picatinny mount is a plus, but I don't know exactly what you would mount this to. Maybe some kind of gun, like a pistol with a rail. So maybe if you had a revolver or Desert Eagle with a rail, Picatinny rail, you can use this on it. So what are some other differentiators on the Vortex? It has this knurling on the front, which is supposed to be, if you need to rack the slide off of something, it's supposed to be more grippy. In my opinion, it's a little bit of a gimmick. And I think basically Vortex is just trying to give you some extra stuff. So they give you a dust cover, which is nice. That doesn't come with the Holosun. And then the other thing Vortex does is they give you all these screws. Okay, they give you all these screws and they give you a shim plate. So they say the shim plate could be used to dial in the optic, used to angle the optic slightly to gain elevation when zeroing at less than 15 yards. I don't know. The 407K doesn't come with that, but I've never heard anybody need it. As far as the screws go, I'll just put them on the screen. You'll see all the different screws. You'll notice that a lot of these screws are redundant. Some of them are 1 millimeter difference. If you see 1 millimeter different, I mean 1 millimeter is almost non-existent. Holosun comes with metric 3 and metric 4 screws, which will fit a variety of pistols. We have never really had any issues mounting a 407K on another pistol except for a Smith & Wesson M&P 5.7 or the Equalizer. Those need 6x32 screws, and we provide those if you buy them from us. What's another benefit of the Vortex optic? In my opinion, it's that it's an RMSc mount. So that means it has these holes here for recoil lugs. Now, an RMSc footprint is a very common footprint. You find it on the Glock 43X, the Springfield Hellcat, and almost any even compact or full-size pistol that's optics ready comes with an RMSc plate. So that means this will install on anything without needing an adapter plate. Now, if you compare that to the Holosun, if you wanted to mount it onto a M&P Shield Plus Springfield Hellcat or a XDS or a Glock 43X or 48 MOS, you would need an adapter plate for the Holosun. So that's one of the downsides to the Holosun. But if you have any of these guns, Bull Armory SAS2 Ultralight, Smith & Wesson M&P 5.7, Smith & Wesson Equalizer, SIG P322, P365, any of the optics ready variants, Connect TP9 Elite SC, Taurus TX22 Compact, or Taurus GX4, GX4 XL, Toro, the Holosun 407K will fit directly on it. And the way it seems things are going is more companies are going to be coming out with a modified RMSc footprint, just because that means you can fit the Holosun and the Vortex, whereas if you just had the RMSc footprint, you would need an adapter plate and you wouldn't be able to fit the Holosuns on it. So manufacturers are understanding that and coming out with that more and more. Another thing that they both have is they both have the shake awake feature, which is nice. A lot of people like that. So it means if these are sitting on the table with no movement, they'll shut off. And then if you pick them up, they'll turn back on. So one of the things that I found a little bit, not as good is on the Holosun, if it detects no movement for 10 minutes, it shuts off. On the Vortex, it waits 14 hours to shut off. It's quite a long time, if you ask me. Especially since it has lower battery life, you would think it would want to shut off quicker. So I'm not sure why that is. So aside from the Vortex not having any, field testing, whereas the Holosun does, just what are some other differences? I mean, the battery placement is different, obviously. On the Vortex, it's on the top. On the Holosun, it's on the side. To my eye and the way it looks, the Vortex window is a little bit taller than the 407K. And I don't know if I like that. I guess I'm probably used to the 407K, but to me, this window is nice. It's square. This one is almost like a bit, it just looks like it's a bit higher, and that height seems a little bit unnecessary, especially when you want a nice sleek optic. The Vortex is a little bit wider, not by much, but when I mounted it on my Palmetto State Armory dagger, it did have a little bit of an overhang. So compared to the 407K, you can see that it's slightly wider, and that's just another thing to consider. I do think the 407K is sleeker because it's a little bit shorter and it's a little bit narrower. So I value that on a pistol. I don't really want overhang, and especially if I'm putting it on a micro compact or a subcompact, I think the 407K is more of a seamless look with less overhang than the Vortex. The buttons are obviously different. Holosuns are all on the side. Vortex has one on the left and one on the right. I don't have any problems with either of the buttons. They're both fine. The Vortex has rear dovetails just like the Holosun does, although they look a little bit less aggressive. And since I talked about adapter plates, most of the adapter plates we sell can be $40. You can find them cheaper on Amazon. You can get them for, let's say, $29. So if you have a Glock 43X or a Springfield Hellcat and you're looking at the 407K plus the plate, you're looking at about $250. So you're looking at almost the same price as the Vortex. Okay, so the only other thing that I'll mention are the warranties. Vortex has a unconditional lifetime warranty and Holosun has a limited lifetime warranty. So Holosun's warranty basically warranties everything for the life of the optic except the emitter. And on that, they warranty that for 10 years. And then Vortex basically says they warranty everything for life. And both manufacturers state that, you know, the product has to just pretty much stop working. You can't just beat it with a hammer and they'll replace it, or, you know, because of some personal abuse. On Vortex's website, it says it doesn't warranty theft, loss, deliberate damage, or cosmetic damage that does not hinder the performance of the product. So basically, as long as if either of them stop working for some reason or fail, both companies will warranty it, but Holosun will only warranty the emitter for 10 years. And one final note, I guess the Vortex could be good if you want a 3 MOA dot at a $250 price point. You can't get that in Holosun. But the other thing with Holosun is if you did want an optic in this size and you weren't too concerned about the price, you can get the 6 MOA dot in red or green with the 407K. But then you can also get the MRS reticle, which is the 32 MOA circle, and the 2 MOA dot, which you can toggle to just the 2 MOA dot or just the 32 MOA circle. You know, Vortex doesn't have that reticle, so that reticle is available in Holosun in red or green. And then we also have the Holosun ACSS 507K, which is a 3 MOA dot, and it has the ACSS reticle, which gives you a 220 millimeter or MOA outer ring, which helps you find the dot when you are aiming the pistol. If you do not have the dot centered, it helps you center the dot quickly to get on target faster. So I'm not trying to be biased, but I think when I look at everything, my logical conclusion is that the 407K is the superior optic. It doesn't have a traditional RMSc footprint, which means you do have to get an adapter plate at times. So, you know, that can raise the height of the optic. If that's a big concern for you and you're not too concerned about battery life, I'd say that the Vortex is a fantastic option for you, most likely. So I don't think that this is a bad product at all, the Vortex. I just think that probably number one is still the Holosun, and now maybe number two could be the Vortex. So I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. If you like the Vortex over the Holosun for some reason, let me know. And if you have any questions, let me know. And like I said, all these Holosun optics are on our website. We have fitment guides, and we're always happy to help. So if you have anything that's on your mind, leave a comment, reach out to us on our website. And yeah, we look forward to hearing you, and thanks for watching.